5 seconds.
It's a thing.
We are live.
Jane, was that the weirdest countdown you've ever had?
Absolutely.
47 seconds, 10 seconds. Hang on a minute.
How
We
does
just
that work?
skipped a bit. Skipped a bit for sure. Good morning. But that's not thrown me at all. Oh, well, we're here.
We're
I'm
here.
assuming we're
That's the
live.
main thing.
Good morning. We might be live, or, you know, it might be a bit delayed by 37 seconds. Or have you done it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you tell Gemma?
No.
She wants to take it off. So, but housekeeping.
Gems, can you take gold blades off stock, please?
You know when your blade, it has that little nick in it?
Oh, it's so annoying.
It's so annoying, and you cut and yeah, that this morning, annoying. I need to find us on here so we can say good morning to everyone. It is Witchy Stitchy Wednesday. Jane's going to be witchy stitching in a minute. Otherwise known as Workshop Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am tardy, Jane. I am tardy. I put my hands up. I am tardy because we didn't actually last month manage to fit in our Pay It Forward project. Because obviously it was still August for me. I'm a bit confused.
Yes. I think we all are. We don't know what day it is or what month, and how is it December already?
Seriously don't know.
I'm like, need to do some shopping. When am I going to fit that in? Don't know.
Had to find that blinking elf.
Emily told me that it's there.
Yeah, oh, it's there, yes. Did she tell you what it was doing this morning?
No.
Nosedived into her cereal box.
Cheeky little monkey.
I know. Threw it all over the place. Which then Malcolm ate. Just like, ah! So that's been fun. So yeah, the elf on the shelf is back. Only 23 more days of it. Yay! Right, so we are going to make our Pay It Forward project today. So the ethos of the Pay It Forward project, we started this in month 4, 5, 4, 5, something like that.
5. I think that's 4.
We've been doing it for a few months. Let's stick with that. We've been doing it for a few months now. And it started because of you guys being, well, really just your lovely, fantastic selves. And it just came about because during the shows, you'd be, I think there was one in particular where we had the advent calendars. And before you knew it, there was a whole group of you that had all kind of bought into buying some of the advent kits to then go towards a charity. I think Ali was going to make them and loaded just a whole load of you got involved. And I kind of thought, you know what? You are amazing. You're really amazing and you're really kind. And that should always be supported. Absolutely. You know, so we came up with the Pay It Forward project, which means that each month we, it's not like a money-making thing for us or anything like that. We just send out something for you to make, and they are really simple makes. They're beginner makes, okay, so that it's not restricted to any kind of ability. We've done incubator quilts, we've done bibs and stuff for, well, women that have had to up and go in a bit of a rush with their kids. And what else have we done? So today we're doing dresses for little girls. Well, it's meant to be in Africa, isn't it? Yeah. But the ethos is that you can pick. So if this brings someone else joy, and you get to have the joy of either giving it, paying that forward, or maybe your grandkids are coming around and you end up doing it with them, then as long as something good has come from it, then you fill the criteria as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. If you and a lot of you send back your projects, which is just so lovely.
It's a really nice
really lovely, and we see them and we collect them and we take them. Oh, we did the mastectomy cushion as well, didn't we?
Yes.
So we've done all sorts of things, and this month's this is obviously last month's because I'm late, but this month's is for the Donkey Sanctuary, you know, little donkey. Yeah. So so that's, if you haven't got that one already, that's what went live yesterday. These are dresses for little girls in Africa. Now, if you have, you know, somebody near you maybe that's struggling a bit or whatever, and you want to give that dress to their little girl, do it. Like, we're not going to check up on you.
No.
We're not going to check up on you at all. It's just so long as something good has come out of it, that's criteria met as far as I'm concerned. If you do want to send it back to us, and we will send it on to, we've got a number of charities that, you know, we can send on to. That's why we've chosen the fabric that we have. And this was the bit that broke my heart. It has to be dark. You know, it can't be pastels and stuff like that for a couple of reasons. You don't want it going see-through at any point. And also because they're not going to be washed that regularly. It's not a matter of, you know, bundling it in the old wash after everywhere. It's not going to be that kind of case. And if they do get washed, they're going to get banged against a stone.
Yeah.
I mean, right. So, which means there is a slight adaptation to the pattern that I've got, but it's super, super easy. Don't worry about it. We've been making these dresses since, well, this is Emily's pillowcase dress. This was her very first pillowcase dress that I ever made her. And you can see oh, hang on a minute. I've timed out. No, come back. This, come on. Oh, we didn't want to play now, Jane. Oh no, it does. We're all good. Ta-da! Look. That's a very tiny
Oh, she's
Emily.
so dots there.
I know. Look at her little chunky chunkers.
She's still a little munchkin, but she's gone all leggy, hasn't she?
She had such chunky little thighs, bless her, and little feet. Proper chunker she was.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Absolute chunker. And there she is in the dress. Bless her. So we have been making these dresses for years, and the really great thing about it is if they're going to a child in this country, then you just put long sleeve tops underneath, leggings, and then they go from a dress to a top. Great, brilliant. So in there you get measurements, and if you want to add a trim on to make it longer, then you can. All those sorts of things, all of those are in there. The very first thing we're going to do is, if you've got an overlock, just overlock around all the edges. If you don't, zigzag. I have zigzagged out 7 inches. I'm going to make the smallest size one. Oh, I'm telling you this because you can make these with your eyes shut. But it's just that you're standing there, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's good. I like to see what you do. Lovely.
Right, so we are going to go wrong sides together because they have asked that if you are not overlocking the whole thing, that you French seam. Okay, now that just means there's going to be a moment where it feels slightly uncomfortable for you because you think you're sewing it around the wrong way. That's all it means. And as long as you just think like that, you're going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
A moment of slight discomfort where you think you're sewing it the wrong way around is your French seam. So I have zigzagged down to 7 inches because at 7 inches, that is your armhole. Let me show you. Okay, ta-da. So this is the 7-inch mark here, and so from there on down there we're going to stitch it. I can't actually, I've been so long since I made one of these, Jane.
It's always good to refer back though, isn't it? Because I think sometimes you can get a bit like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, and that's when you can make a mistake.
Lackadaisical. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I'm going with
it.
it.
It's a nice word, lackadaisical.
I feel like I haven't quite said it right. Don't ask me to spell it. You wouldn't do that to me.
Don't ask me either.
What did I see written down the other day? I was like, oh, that's how you'd spell it. Interesting. So I'm going to just reinforce the fact that is 7 inches. Look, I've gone a bit too far. I've overshot there, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to mark down my 7 inches. I got overexcited when the zigzag. Who wouldn't? I mean, highlight of my day. There you go. If you want to pin, do any of that, then it really helps if you have them to
have the pins at hand.
Oh, let me tell you, this morning was spent running around trying to find exciting things for small children to do who have to spend the entire day here. Yay!
It's suddenly, you're like thrown off, aren't you? Because it's like, oh, well, I just get up and I get them ready and I take them to school.
No, not today.
Not today.
No, absolutely not. Today they require food and entertaining.
They'll be fine with us. Josh will keep them happy.
Jane, I've had a real moment of ridiculousness. I've brought them in with paint.
With paint.
What was I thinking?
They'll be fine.
But
they're in my workroom.
I know. But not just that, fabric paints. They work
We
on
could have some
fabric.
interesting designs later.
And stamps.
Yeah.
They're busy stamping dinosaurs all over the place.
Freddie was trying to make a dinosaur Christmas tree when I left him. I borrowed Emily's crab. Can I use your crab as the star at the top, he said, which I thought was very inventive.
They have a star.
Yeah.
No, they have an actual
Yes,
stamp
I know,
that's a
but
star.
he wanted a crab.
Oh, take it off, zigzag. That is the next thing to do.
Yeah, that always helps.
Well, you know, yeah. Let's try
I'll
that
stop
again, shall we?
talking to you. You'll be able to concentrate. Talking
No, I'm
about
just trying to
crabs for
work
stars on a Christmas tree for of dinosaurs.
Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm even trying to think that it's going to be anything other than slightly wacky.
I think he wanted to do the Christmas tree shape in dinosaur stamps. I think that's where he was going with it.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
But it was lovely because he was like, "Can I borrow your crab stamp, Emily?" And I was like, "That's so nice, so polite."
What did she say? Freddie, you're winding me up.
No,
That's
she
the
said,
general
"Yes,
thing.
of course you can." Freddie."
Crikey.
They're obviously in a good space at the moment together.
Yes, the red have had the riot act read to them this morning. Bless them. Right, so we are going to stitch either from that 7-inch mark or up to that 7-inch mark. Whee! Just a straight stitch. Do you love a magnetic pincushion? You can just throw
You
stuff
just
at it.
literally throw them and it's brilliant.
I do. Actually just throw them.
And I know that you do it as well, but if you put your pins on your throat of your machine here, it's really handy just to pick them all up.
Zoom.
Yes. Lovely.
Do you know what? And it
It's a
never, it is never less satisfying.
Absolutely not.
I never actually grow out of enjoying that at all. I'm going to go from that. I'm going to go up to the 7-inch mark.
Just trimming it back a little
Just
bit.
trimming it back by an eighth of an inch.
Yeah. Just so that you don't get any sort of...
We're going to turn it through the other way. Okay, so I don't want to get little
Frayed
threads.
bits, yeah.
We do not want threads. We do not. And I'm going to spin that around and do that the other way. You're going to have to snip in by that eighth of an inch. But that's okay. You can do that. But again, if you've got an overlocker, it's done. Like, don't even worry about it. And if you've got one sitting in the cupboard, yeah, I know you have, and you haven't used it yet. Why do I know, Jane?
Because maybe you've got one there too.
Because
Not anymore because you use yours, but
I
bet
did.
you had it for a while.
I did. 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months. Mine sat in the cupboard and I was too scared to use it. And then actually I just upgraded. This is really bad, isn't it? I just upgraded to the Dukey with the whoosh and it was all fine. Spin this inside out and press those seams. Okay, and then you're just going to stitch down. You know, I said this was like super, super quick and easy.
Yeah.
I was not lying. Which is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's today's bonus. You just want to press that seam onto the end. Should we see what I'm doing? Jane, do you want to see if anybody's there with us today? Is it us? Are we here?
Let me put my glasses on so I can see. Oh, we've got lots of Alison.
We've got lots of Alisons. We
Ali
do have
Barton's
quite
here,
a
and of
lot.
course Lowe's here.
Of course, Lo's here. Morning, Ali and Lo. I'm blaming you, actually, you two, for a lot of this, if I'm honest.
Shanaz, is it? Shanaz is here.
I don't know, but she's been with us this week.
Claire
And I'm not quite sure
Angelina.
how to say it. We need to know.
Elizabeth's here. Happy birthday for yesterday, Elizabeth. Hope you had a lovely day. Silver Sparkly's here.
Morning.
Julia is here.
Usual suspects. Lovely.
Yeah, Myra. Yeah.
Good job.
Pam.
Good job. Myra, you
Margaret.
really confused us because were you part of the Myra or Mary debate?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Jane. Jane's here. Not me. I'm here, yes, but not me.
Not here today.
Michelle, well, yeah, that's debatable. Hi, Colette. Colette's watching.
Right. When you have press down.
Michelle says, what is the latest we can send our little dresses?
Oh,
to you.
there's no. I have no
We
time
have
limit on it.
Yeah, we can just
Kids
keep
are still going to
sending
need
them.
dresses, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no time limit on it. I'm going to sew down again, 1/4 of an inch. and that will just encase that seam. And the only reason that we do this ever so slightly different than is in the pattern is just because, where's that 7-inch mark? Like I say, just because that is the difference that has been asked for.
Debbie's here. Morning, Debbie. Helen's here. She says, I'm sorry I'm a bit late. Well,
Which
I don't
Helen?
mind.
Helen of the Law?
Yes. Bridget's here. Morning, Bridget. And Tess is here.
I love how people apologise. No, we don't mind, do we?
No.
As long as we're here on time.
Yeah, that's the
all,
main thing.
That's all we care
Because
about.
you can always watch it back, can't you? You can go back and watch it from the beginning.
Whenever you like, quite frankly.
We have to say good morning to the YouTuber people, don't we? Because we don't see the YouTuber people. But we know they're watching. That sounds
watching.
They're watching us.
That's not scary at all, is it, Jane? No. So look, just by doing that, what you have created, in fact, I should probably have kept that on a close up. And lots of garments have French seams for those people that do not have an overlocker. And it just means that it can't fray. Look, see? Nothing there. Nothing there to fray.
Lovely.
That
and
is
it.
it.
Strengthens it a bit.
It does, doesn't it? Because you've got 2 rows of stitching. If you do not want to do a French seam, just do 2 lines of stitching. That's the other thing that I've asked. In your kit, you will have had like a little sheet that just gives you the heads up on just those extra little bits of criteria that you need. That's it.
There's a lot of love going out for the velvet cows. And
oh, the velvet cow?
Anne would like to know when you're doing the cow cushion that Emily was helping you make yesterday.
Did you want it as a pattern? It was just Emily's cow.
Yeah.
It was a
nice
crikey, the kids are off school. What am I going to do to entertain them with? Do you know what that was from? That was a photo that my dad took over 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the picture, but I didn't realise it was
a silhouetted one.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
It's
picture.
beautiful. And it's got like barbed wire. I don't know if I've got like a full one.
I won't go.
So
I'll just go and fetch that.
And I've always loved it. And I did a version of it for my A-level art. And so it's always kind of been in my head. And so I was like, it would look really lovely in velvet. So Emily had to draw around it for the steamer seam, and Fred's is doing a version as well. So, but what happened was this fabric came in. Sorry, I digress completely. But we've got so many colours of this.
Yes, I know. We've all been stroking it and loving it.
Because it's an ombre. Check it out. Look at that. And it's by some kind of cowgirl. What's her name? Sparkly Cowgirl or something.
Sparkly lipstick or something.
Lipstick Cowgirl, that's it, by Moda. So, I mean, instantly I was like, yes.
JCM's here. Morning, JCM.
JCM. It's a good job you're not in the building because you would be after that. Right. Various things that we can do now. We can either do the bottom hem or we can do the arms. So. We have, obviously, let's get the pattern, shall we? Have a little look. What are we doing? Ordinarily in the pattern, you would press your seam open, but you don't need to do that. We do not need to do that, Jane. We do not.
Okay.
All right. But what we do need to do, if I can arrange myself, let's see. These are going to be your armholes, okay? So we just need to turn them over twice, okay?
Oh, Sylv's on it. Look, with the design, you can do the cow on a starry fabric with an applique moon. That's a nice idea, isn't
Beautiful,
it?
beautiful.
Like that. Yeah, there's so many things that you could do with it. It's lovely.
The fabric is just gorgeous.
Guys, I'm going to velvet as a inspiration.
It just gives that little bit of texture.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
That's all right. No. Right, I'm just going to turn that under, give it a little press, and again turn that under. If you can manage to turn it twice, great.
Just again, it's neatness, isn't it, and a bit of strengthening of the seam, I suppose, if you
Yeah.
turn it twice.
It is. I will stitch round it twice. That's the thing. So, you know, if you've zigzagged or overlocked there, so that's
Yeah.
not going to fray. But if you can just do that twice, then great. It's not the end of the world if you can't. Like, really don't stress about this. I would rather they just had some clothes.
Well, yes.
Do you know what I mean? Just don't even worry about it. And so just at that base there, just give that a little press. Ouch. Try not to burn yourself.
No, don't burn yourself. Not a good plan.
And then all I'm going to do is stitch down that side, go across and stitch back up the other side. I'm going to do that twice.
Yeah, strengthen it.
Because, you know, it's asked me to. So I'm going to. Do you know what, Jane? It's not often I do as I'm told. I think we can all agree to that, right?
I'm not saying anything. Taking the fist on that one.
I'm quite comfortable with that. I have no problems with it at all. There we go. So right, at the base, I'm going to keep my needle in. I'm going to lift my foot. I'm going to spin it. And I'm just going to stitch across, and that's just going to reinforce the bottom of that armhole. Needle down, up, turn it, spin it, come back up that other side. When I'm at the top, Jane, what am I going to do?
Turn around and go back again.
I'm going to do exactly that. Okay, if you are a neat person and you want to just go back on your layer of stitching, your line of stitching, fabulous, do that.
Or you could
If
make
you're
it
a beginner,
design feature and do
exactly,
the parallel line.
you could do it, yeah, like in jeans.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, maybe I should have done this in like a bright orange stitch or something. Oh, I've got a little wobble there. Excellent. And then I'm just going to go and press and do exactly the same the other side. But that now has got that double layer of stitching. That is the only criteria that's not written in the pattern. Okay. That's it, Jane. That's it.
That's good.
And we are actually very nearly there. This is, you know when I said it was super quick and easy?
Yeah.
Like it really is.
You weren't telling fibs.
I was not. No. No, no, no. No fibs here. There we go. Jane, what bit of block of the month are we doing today, my little stitchy witch?
Well, we've said it's block 7. It's not really a block because it's the borders.
I might have called it the wrong thing, and I'm going to blame that there Gemma for that because she might have also been calling it the wrong thing.
Meandering geese.
Did we
I
is that
think
what we
it's been
called
called
them?
meandering geese, and then migrating geese. But I don't think it matters. Meandering, migrating.
Geese what are not here anymore.
Yeah. Geese
Over
that are
there.
wandering around a bit.
Are they just looking a bit lost?
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's probably really steeped in history and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
We're like,
And you
nah,
probably
they're just meandering.
Yeah, you'll probably find that they've got several different names anyway. Because
Got
they
even
do
more
that.
now.
Yeah, they do that. They call them different things in different places, which is quite interesting in the you know, when you look at the history of blocks, you'll find several blocks that are exactly the same, but they're called different things because they've come from a different area.
So in the Birmingham/Coventry area,
Yeah, they're meandering.
they will be mostly known as meandering geese.
Oh, I love
Almost yam geese.
it. Yeah, why not?
We went a little bit further over. I'm just going to stitch down again. And then we really don't have a lot left to do. Just a quick seam here and there.
Brilliant. That's such pretty fabric.
Yeah.
Lewis and Irene one, is it? No,
It's a Tula pink. This
Tula,
was
yes, from the Alice in Wonderland
yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was. But you know, it's pretty, tick.
It's lovely.
Dark, tick. So again, you know, your half-metre heavens are perfect for this because you can always do a trim. I had little bits left over. Like I said, this was one of the smaller sizes. You have got 2 half-meters there. So you can either make 2 little dresses, you know, exactly this size. Or if you want to do a bigger one, use a trim. Or if you want to shock horror, go into your stash, Jane, stash. Actual use of stash. Because we all know that buying it and using it, 2 very different things. There should be a third, which is just
Elizabeth
stroking
says
it.
you look very happy to have your other mate back, Natasha. Does she mean me? Huh?
Because I'm not all alone.
Oh.
What did I do last week?
You did the
Tomte. Yes,
and
the
and the
Tomte.
beautiful moth.
Do you know what? It's the moth that I'm gonna get the kids to finish that off today.
I love that moth. It's beautiful.
Mm.
I think I might have a go at it.
Because
It's just really pretty, and you've got that beautiful Riley Blake fabric.
it's rather lush, isn't it? I've got so many uses for all that Riley Blake fabric. I've got a lot of glitter left over from yesterday's what have you. Right, now. We've done that bit. I'm follow my own instructions.
And it's good to have them at hand.
That's what I tell myself. So, the top bit, this is the channel for the... Come on, Jane, give me some words here.
Neck.
Neck. What else?
The
Ribbon.
ribbon, yeah.
Only we're not going to use ribbon. You have got in your kit 2 meters of binding because they've asked you to use binding that's folded over, and stitched down. Again, it's a strength thing.
Yeah.
Don't want
And
ribbons
it's
fraying all
cotton
over the
that
shop.
will last nicely, won't it?
We've gone for bright orange with this one. So, what we're going to do now is turn down and turn down. All right. Turn it down. What did I say? Fold the top seam over by about 1/2 inch. Now, Jane, how much is 1/2 inch? Oh, look, to the circle.
It's a really handy gadget.
Well, yeah, it really is. It would have helped if I'd actually done it near the pressing mat.
Well, it always helps.
Do you know what? Yeah. I know, right? At some point. Do you ever watch Fawlty Towers? Do you ever watch Fawlty Towers?
Yes, I love Fawlty Towers.
I feel a little bit like today, Mrs. Richards. Do you remember that episode where with the hearing aid?
Yes.
And he picks up, is this a piece of your brain? I feel a little bit like that at some point someone is going to hand me my brain that I've dropped on the floor.
I think we're getting to that time of year, aren't we? Where it's coming to the end of the year, we've got Christmas coming, we're thinking about 101 things, and our brains just go,
Yeah.
I can't manage all of this.
I'm doing Christmas differently this year.
Are you not having it?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to McDonald's. No, and then no. Then we're going to fold this over by 1 inch. Let me just check where my inch is here. All right, that's this one here. So again, we have encased that raw seam, and then
That's making a nice channel, isn't it, for that
It is.
ribbon to go through.
there's going to be no fraying. The other thing that I would really recommend you do at this point is kind of that
Yeah.
on a diagonal, almost mitering.
Just so it makes it easier for the ribbon to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not going to catch then. And then just give it a good old press. Get that steam out, Jane. Get the steam out.
You can't beat steam on clothing, can you? To give it a nice flat seam.
Hey, Lo, how are you finding your new iron? She's got the same iron on us.
Oh,
How are
has
you
she?
finding your new iron? I never.
Is it like when you have a new broom and you want to sweep everywhere? You get a new iron, do you want to iron everything?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I think it might be a thing. It might be a thing. I don't know. Lo, tell us. Have you ironed everything in sight? Now, because that is, you can pin. You can pin, but it's
You've got that
pretty well
lovely
pressed, isn't it?
Flat, haven't you? Yeah.
Wow.
You don't need
And
it to be
also
crisp.
because of the pressing mat that we use as well,
Yeah.
the felt. It's absolutely fabulous. Right. Let's stitch down here.
There's lots of people watching. They're obviously very engrossed. They're not commenting. There's no comments going on. That's good.
No back chat.
No,
They're behaving.
they're being good.
I don't believe
Maybe
that.
they're because I'm watching. Won't get away with it with me.
Oh, Jane!
They're on the best behaviour.
Why do I just not believe that? for a second? All right, we're going to repeat that to the other side as well. And then we're just going to hem the base and it's pretty much done.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
You know, so I promised you a make that anybody could do. I mean, like, you need a sewing machine, right? But that's pretty much it.
Well, I suppose you could do it by hand. You'd have to make sure that your stitching was nice and even and tight. But yeah, you could even do it by hand. I mean, it's not
once
a
upon a
difficult
time,
sewn.
Jane,
That's how
wasn't
dresses
everything
were-
done,
yeah.
right? So yeah. I don't know, we used to at Sewing Quarter, we used to have a lady that hand sewed everything. Don't know what happened to her.
I had a lady in one of my classes and she could hand sew as quickly as the ladies could sew on the machine.
No,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Because when you're piecing, you don't have to do a back stitch, it's a running stitch and just a couple of back stitches at the beginning, in the middle and at the end. And she could get her quilts, her blocks together as quickly as the ladies.
That is impressive.
sewed
That's
with
really
machine, 'cause
impressive.
that's all she did. She just sewed by hand.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So you get quick, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you do, if that's what you're used to.
Julia says we always behave when Jane is in.
Why
Why
do
do
I
I
not
not
believe
believe
It's not
that?
actually true. No, no,
I
no.
don't believe that.
So this time, because I've already got one side folded, it's easy to just use that as a guide. As a guide, let me tell you, as a guide. And as long as you stitch this down with like 1/4 of an inch seam, so you're within that 1/2 inch that you turned it under in the first place, you're good.
I'm
And
going to
if you-
say to Pam that I did see it, I just chose not to say anything.
Oh no, what have I done wrong?
No, the comment.
Oh,
When we said about faulty towers. You know at the beginning how they used to rearrange the letters.
I was brought up on Faulty Towers.
I love it. You can get it now on Dave or one of those channels. They still
wouldn't-
show it.
They wouldn't get away with it though these days, would they? Would they?
Well, yeah, I suppose some of it might have been a little
Especially
bit
not the like.
un-PC, but
Don't mention the wall.
yeah,
That one,
and
like you wouldn't get away with
beating
that.
Manuel up constantly is probably not the way to treat your staff. But
I don't know.
don't get any ideas.
He's hamster. I don't know. Yeah, just.
Alison asks a good question here. She says, are there any colours for religious or cultural issues that we shouldn't use? Do we know? I don't think I know of any colours that, you know, because I think different cultures have different colours for different meanings, don't they? But I'm not aware of anything that is really, you know, no.
We haven't really.
I mean, we've had advice, haven't we? Which is how we know we need to
Yeah,
use dark
yeah.
colours.
But at
and-
no point did anyone say to avoid certain colours.
no,
Just only in terms of avoid a pastel colour
yes,
because you don't want. So like I can't send Emily's.
no, because
Pastely one
it
out.
would be see-through in the
It-
sunshine.
yeah.
And because, you know, they tend not to have any underwear, do they? So
Well,
yeah, it
yeah.
puts them at risk of all sorts of horrible things that we don't need to talk about on a Wednesday morning.
And you it's just unmentionable, isn't it? So, again, turning this under twice so that we don't have any raw seams,
Lovely.
and pressing, and then you're just going to stitch around twice. Then you're going to get your binding. You're going to stitch that down probably twice, and that is it. That is that little dress made and ready to go. So we've done that in what's time now, Jane? Half an hour.
Yeah.
Half an hour. Come on,
Brilliant.
if you've got half an hour to spend.
Well, the thing is, it probably not even take you half an hour because we've been chatting as well.
There's been a bit of chat, not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Bit of chat here and there. Absolutely. So yeah, that's, and we do have, believe we still have some of these available if you, it's not too late to join in. But like I say, you know, it could be that you want to, that you have someone in mind that you want to give this to, you know,
Yeah. You might know a little girl down the road that, you know,
just might just
love
fancy
a
it.
little dress.
And that is,
It's also a good way of breaking ice with your neighbours, isn't it? If you've got people that have just moved in near you and they've got a little girl, you could make a little girl's dress for her.
absolutely, absolutely.
I know that if I had a little girl and somebody came to me and said I've made this little dress, I'd be delighted.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. You just would, wouldn't you? Because it's
I
that
think it's the
random
thought,
act
isn't
of
it?
kindness,
Yeah, and
isn't
it's
it?
that
That's what
somebody
this was all
thought
about.
you. Wendy says she's just turned on after walking the dog.
Hi, Wendy.
And do we have a lighting problem? It seems rather dark. I think all the lights are on.
It's just December. In fact, we've got extra lights on today. Not that we know of, Wendy. It could be your screen that needs adjusting, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed here. I'm going to zip round twice, Jane, so that I know that I've done it.
Good, and it's done.
And then it can go straight off. Because otherwise, I don't want it to be one of those things that I sit and look at and go, you must do that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's finding the time, isn't it, to do it again.
Yeah, or finding the same thread or something.
It was Wendy's birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Wendy!
She had a lovely birthday unwrapping KFC fabric and the advent calendar.
It doesn't matter, Jane, how many times anybody says it. As soon as KFC is mentioned, I do think chicken in a box.
Yeah.
Can't help it. Right, stitch around that twice. We are done. And then all we need to do is sort that binding.
Isn't that lovely? That's going to be so pretty.
And then we're good. And then it's over to Jane for our normal stitchy witchiness. So, for the end here, just open it up. Let me show you. Open it up, fold it down again, so you've got no raw seams. And then we're going to fold it in half like that and stitch all the way down.
Brilliant.
Okay. That's it. That's it, Jane. That's it. That's all we're going to do. A backwardsy forwardsy thing. Whee! Do you know, I haven't used the DX7 for ages. God, what a nice machine it is.
It's a lovely machine.
Really had forgotten. You know what I need to do, don't you? Before I get to the other end.
Yeah, fold the other end up so you don't get raw edges. Yeah.
All of that.
At least
all
you
of
remembered
that.
and didn't get like a centimetre away from the end and you haven't got any room to fold it.
That has been done before now. I'm not going to lie. Wouldn't lie. Wouldn't lie to you, lot. There we go. Jane, have we got a bodkin at the ready anywhere? It's normally on one of my pin cushions.
There it is.
If you do not have a bodkin in your life, you might want to rectify that. What do you reckon? Should we stitch down there again? Just the other side.
It wouldn't hurt, would it?
When I first heard the term bodkin, it just made me smile. It made me think of all the years I worked at the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Well, it's one of the characters, isn't they? Is it in Midsummer's Night's Dream or?
I think bodkins always used to make me think of, you know, part of the dress.
Right.
It's up there with like cod pieces and things like that.
Yeah.
Just weird. Weird, weird, weird.
Margaret thinks that the appearance of darkness on the set might have something to do with the lamp being on behind you, casting shadow.
That better? Oh, lower the press foot.
Always helps. Remember that one, don't you?
It's because I haven't used it for ages. I've forgotten how to do it. I'm just going to trim that a little bit closer. Right. Load up your bodkin. There are two types in the bodkin sets that we sell. One that grips like that and the other way you poke it in and make it really, really tight. But either way, it doesn't matter. Helps if I actually put it in the right way. This is then going to be threaded through around the top.
It's a clever way, isn't it, of getting a seam, getting the sleeve
Yeah.
shoulders held together, but also it's adjustable, so
And it
fit
allows
any
for growth.
size.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now you can, I tend to pass this through and go straight through round the other way.
Yeah.
And then it's just one tie. And that I think is better. And that's kind of what we'd allowed for with the metre each, the metre piece. We've got a 2 metre piece, cut it in half,
Yeah.
a metre for each dress. We've sort of banked on you making 2 dresses, I think.
Yeah, because you can get 2 out of the two and a half metres, can't you?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Yeah.
And I've got, from this one, I've got, like, that could go on as a contrasting trim onto the other one.
Yes, yeah, that's a nice idea.
So there we have it, ladies and gents. That is one little pillowcase dress. There we go.
Yeah.
Good and ready to
Lovely.
go. You can just tie that off on that end.
Beautiful.
And all good. Jane, half meter heavens. We've got half meter heavens to show, and,
Yeah.
and then it's all over to you
Cool.
for your migrating, meandering,
Meandering. Whatever.
wherever they're
Wandering
going.
around aimlessly.
Yeah, one of those geese. I love it. There's something gorgeous, isn't there, about geese when they just. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ta-da!
Lovely.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Right, let's pop that there. This is the pillowcase that. Seriously, do you want a pattern for this? Or just template or whatever? We can do that, can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. With this fabric, or with some. That fabric is going to go live tomorrow, by the way. I don't need my gloss on anymore. Tomorrow. Oh.
There's
Send
nothing
your
worse than
birds
looking
off.
up with your reading glasses because it makes you go all woo.
Do you need pins? Shall I keep them out?
Could we use any spare fabric for our little pocket? Alison asks.
Oh, a pocket.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Emily's just discovered pockets and stuff.
Yeah.
And when she's got them, she's just, that's it. Hands in pockets. She just has to walk around like that. Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can, Ali. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, this is, what we've given you is the very basics. How you want to then embellish is up to you.
Yeah.
Entirely
You know
up to you.
your ability,
Skill
don't
level?
you?
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's, you know, you can do as much or as little on it as you want.
What did I just say I was going to do? Half meter
Oh,
heavens.
half meter heavens, because there's
These-
some gorgeous things in there.
Oh, and the other thing to mention is we are down to the last couple of the owl kits.
Nice.
So I don't know if you've got a bit of Christmas shopping that needs to be done, but these are just the best kits. They're lovely, really are, aren't they, with the owls. It's a big kit actually, it's 49 by 58 inches.
It's a good size quilt, that is, and it's so lovely.
When your mum bought one, we're like, oh, Jane! She's like, no,
It's not for me.
it's not for me. Like, oh, Jane. Right, here we go. So, Half Meter Heaven's going live at midnight tonight.
Nice. I love this fabric.
Jane, where were you this morning whilst I was cutting these? Because I knew that you'd have gone, blush, yes.
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 Absolutely.
This is, it's for Riley Blake. It's Jerry Robinson for Riley Blake. It's called Exquisite. I'm not going to disagree.
No,
Quite frankly,
it's a good
not
name.
going to disagree.
And I
So,
love the colours. I love that combination of the grey, the pink and the mustardy.
well, here's the other thing, right? Because I've also got it in blush, and I've put it with a school grey. Because, firstly, those two goes beautifully together, and then it pulls out the grey in the leaf here. So again, that would give you 2 meters. That is a quilt.
Yeah, beautiful.
And we do this every now and then, don't we, Jane?
Yeah.
I
put
think
a
we try and do it
combination-
more and
yeah.
more because it kind of makes sense to me,
I think when
which is worrying.
some of us struggle a little bit with putting colours together, and I think sometimes if we can help you with that, that's, you know, a bonus.
And when we can colour match so easily for you.
Yes.
So they are there. Now, I've thrown in a little curveball
Oh.
because this is your Lisa Chandler, right?
Yeah.
Now, instead of putting a 1/2 metre of a plain, I've gone with a massive, great big, that's actually a fat quarter, but because it's a big, big bolt, it's kind
Yeah.
of like the same, of, it's actually copper PU,
It's
But-
lovely that copper is because it's a lovely soft gold, really.
but basically,
Look at that for a
look
bag.
what that's going to do. Yeah.
Nice.
So whether that's going to be a wash bag, whether that's going to be one of our contrast base bags, whatever that's going to be for you, whether it's just going into stash,
It's
'Cause
always
it's-
handy to have.
gorgeous, then there it is. So we've got those. A little bit of Tilda today.
Oh, nice.
I know,
We
that's
haven't had a
snuck
Tilda
out.
for a while.
Do you know, we have not. So this is, I want to say petunias. Yeah, petunia, striped in blue with fuchsia.
Nice.
Still
That
can't
really
spell it.
No, I can't either.
Nope. Love this.
That pops the pink.
It does pop the
Lovely.
pink. So that is, yeah, there are some words that just send my brain into meltdown, and fuchsia is one of them.
Yeah.
And yet, weirdly, I have to spell it quite a lot. It's not even like I'm a gardener, for goodness sakes. This is salmon. I can spell that. just fine,
No.
just fine. And this is with nasturtium. Nasturtium.
Yeah, nasturtium.
My mum loves gardening. I really should know these names.
Yeah, you can eat nasturtiums.
You can at fancy restaurants. They put them on to make them look pretty, don't they? Did you used to do that?
Peppery.
Yeah.
No, wasn't
Oh.
that fancy.
You weren't that fancy. Okay. This is the very, very last of the deer fabric.
Look at that.
I know. Look at them with chocolate. Oh no, with brunette actually.
Yeah.
Oh, brunette. Right. Christmas is coming, right?
Yeah.
We have boys.
Yes, we do, and they would love a book cushion.
Book cushion, tablet case,
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah.
Anything with a bit of something a bit more manly.
Yeah, and it's a bit Christmassy. With
It
the-
is a little bit
with the-
Christmassy.
Pretend they're reindeer instead of stags.
When Stephen and I moved into our house, he said that I could decorate it however I wished. But there was just one thing that he would insist on,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, I mean, it's almost life-size, massive, massive portrait of a stag
Yeah.
at the bottom of the stairs. That
It
was the
looks
only
stunning
thing.
at the bottom of your stairs, I do have to say.
Yeah,
It's like,
and that was the only thing.
yeah, the wall takes it, doesn't it? Because it's big enough.
It does, and it kind of, because our house was sort of decorated a bit a la Fawlty Towers. Do you remember the episode with the moose? Every time I see the stag at the bottom of the stairs, I'm like, that's my moose. This is your Fawlty Towers, your Lewis and Irene. I've got it on my brain now. Lewis and Irene, cow parsley and beet on green. Would we say that was green? It's about as green as the misty blue
yeah,
is
it's
blue.
not misty blue. It's not blue.
But I tell you what, with the nude there,
Yeah.
it works a treat.
You see, I would say that was sagey green.
Well, yeah, you know,
Personally,
I would
yeah.
too. And I would also say that with that, I just want to make something for my kitchen with that. I don't know, I feel moved to do it. I've got 3 of these left, Jane. That's all I've got of the thistles.
Oh,
And
that's nice
crimson.
with the crimson.
But that's it, 3 and they're gone. The very, very last of it. I just thought, you know, we need to get these out for you for sort of Christmassy, wintry makes. That's my thought on the
Elizabeth
matter.
said that she took her brother Dave around her garden,
Oh, hi, Dave.
saying you can eat these and these, and he said you're worse than the slugs.
Oh, how mean. Dave sometimes watches the show.
Yeah, that's nice.
He refurbs garden furniture
Oh,
to a really high,
Yes, I've
beautiful
seen
standard. Yeah, you know Dave Krangle. Now, here we go. This is a brand new Tilda. This is one of the brand new ones.
Say that's the new one.
Yeah.
It looks lovely.
With
Is that duck egg?
duck egg.
Nice.
You know when our plane supplier brought out duck egg? You know
Yeah.
how we all cheered
We were like,
because there was that gap that wasn't quite misty blue
Yeah.
and wasn't quite aqua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And we all went, well, that's going to work with Tilda, isn't it?
Yes, because we
Yes,
love that
it
colour
is.
blue with the
Yes,
tilde.
it is. One of my personal favourites.
Yes.
When Tim Holtz does maps, I mean, right,
Yeah, absolutely. We love the maps.
with latte, rude not to.
Yeah.
And again,
Perfect.
for those unisex/masculine makes.
Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely.
Because not everybody likes flowers, apparently.
No,
Some
it's
folk.
Carl that does the refurbs.
Oh,
Natasha,
Carl?
not Dave.
Hang on. Well, now I'm confused. Oh, Elizabeth's got like 18 brothers. Honestly. Which one's the one with the really beautiful horsey girlfriend? Which one's that? Is that Dave or Carl?
It'll be another one you want.
Oh,
Be a different
yeah.
brother.
She'll whip out another brother.
Like you
Crikey
did.
bobs. Yeah. Carl Krangle. Butterflies, again by Tim Holtz.
That's lovely with that. Is that
Chocolate. It's chocolate.
That
Right.
really sets that
Right,
off
right.
nicely.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Like,
No, it is Carl with the lovely horsey
oh, it is.
girlfriend.
Carl. See, at least I got some of it right. Oh, now this.
I love this.
I know.
And this has only just come in.
I know. Yeah. So this is that cowgirl thing.
Yeah, lipstick cowgirl.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to call her Star Spangled Cowgirl.
Why not?
I'm just making that up because that's not true. But at least, you know, put my hands up to it. And that is your aqua,
That's beautiful,
which
isn't it?
pulls
Just
it
out that background
completely.
colour.
I tried it with the blue.
Yeah.
It's just too heavy. It needed that.
Yeah, and I think a red or an orange would smother it as well, wouldn't it?
I want to make so much with this fabric. can't even begin to tell you. And it is from the same collection as this, the ombres. And so you'll see the paint splattery bits.
Yeah, matching with the colours.
I mean, hello. Bit gorgeous, right?
Absolutely.
We're
got
nearly
this
there.
in several colourways, haven't we? This
We've got it in a lot, yeah. And they will go live tomorrow. And if you want a cow kit, I can whip up a cow kit for you. You know,
Well, that'd be nice.
why not, right?
Yeah.
The only reason that's out is because I've started my second cow. It's Freddie's
Lovely.
cow.
Yeah.
I've got 4 of these. I'm going to go on a close-up because
That
this is
just beautiful.
I know, but I've only
fabric.
got 4. I only have 4. And if you don't have it, I'm just going to cover my crackers in it.
Yeah. It's just sumptuous.
If it hasn't sold by
Yeah.
like 7:30 on Thursday morning, I'm taking them down and I'm making my crackers.
I'm having it all.
Isn't it beautiful? I've done it with navy. So you've got a two-tone if you want to do your crackers.
Beautiful.
Then you can do those. Gemma said to me yesterday, Tash, how easy are the crackers to do? So easy.
Yeah.
So easy. But we've only got what we've got of those, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Keep coming undone, Jane. Keep coming untucked today. Right, there we go. I can't even dress myself. It's the state I'm in today. Right, there we go. That's me done. I'm going to hand over to Jane, who's going to do something with geese.
Yes. Meander.
Meander. What do I need? I need this. Possibly my phone. Possibly glasses so I can see again. Whee! See you in a
There
minute.
we go.
Should we dance? There we are.
Right. We're coming towards the end of our block of the month. We are, the end is in sight, as they
Is
say.
nigh.
The end is nigh.
Oh, does that mean that this is the last one, Jane?
This is the last block, but we're going to have another show where I'm going to talk about putting it together because
Okay.
there'll be some of you that might be a bit overwhelmed by putting a whole quilt like this together. So we'll talk about quilt as you go.
Sure.
Because there is a method of quilt as you go where you add a strip of extra fabric in, but I have a method that I don't do that, so we can talk about that method. So we'll have a show in January that just sort of pulls it all together, and we'll do binding and in a bit of in-depth and all of that
Nice.
sort of thing.
Excellent.
So you've got fat eighths of fabric, C, D, E, F and G, and quite a chunk, 3/4 of a metre of fabric B, because fabric B becomes the background, if you like, of the border. So you've got a strip there, and then in the background of the migrating geese and the strip there. So it sort of frames the whole quilt. It's a subtle framing. It's the lighter of all the fabrics in the bundle. So you'll get, with the blue kit, you get your powder blue. The teal's got that lovely sparkly blender fog. And a fat eighth of all of your fabrics. If you bought the whole kit in one go, you should have plenty of this fabric left over to do what you need to do. It was I'm not going to say it was tight, but there was enough, but you have to be careful with your cutting.
Okay. If you've got the kit.
If you bought the full kit. If you're buying it block by block, you've got more than enough fabrics. So you've got your lilac Mystic Vine on the purple kit, and you've got your cream sparkly blender on the zesty kit, and then on the red kit you'll have the light pink.
How many kits did we do in this?
5 colourways we
Did
had
we?
of this block, this quilt. So,
But we've only made 2, haven't we? So
yes, I'm
really hoping that someone will show us what the other ones look like.
Yes, particularly the zesty, because I snuck in that little bit of limey green, which I thought was quite nice. Yeah, so it's a fairly straightforward block to do, but you make a great big long section.
Oh, well, that looks fabulous.
43 of your coloured triangles, all in the pattern, how many you need to cut of each and what size you cut. These large triangles are half square triangles, so you cut a square, cut it in half along the diagonal. The small squares are quarter square triangles, so you cut a square and you cut through both diagonals. All in your instructions. You're going to make 4 of these I've managed to make 2 and a bit because I ran out of the grey because I didn't take enough with me. It's just
I
like,
mean, you know,
as
yeah.
you do. But we'll carry on from where you start off, because the beginning of making this, it always catches me out slightly.
Right.
Because you work from right to left, whereas normally when you're working, you work from left to right. Generally, if you're right-handed, don't you? You think about it. You're right from left to right and everything else. But with this, you start on the right-hand side and you work upwards. So that first one, setting the first 2 triangles together, always feels a bit out.
Clunky.
Yeah, doesn't quite
Is
work.
it like my French seam?
No. Yes.
Did it feel like you did it the wrong way?
Yeah, because you feel like you're doing it upside down, don't you?
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Not anything else.
Yeah. So, as I say, you'll have your background fabric, your fabric B, and you just need to make those into half square triangles.
Oh, we've got Rona and Iona. And
Ooh,
Sean. Good
lovely.
morning.
And you have to make quite a lot. Gemma, bless her, who's practicing, well, she's making her version of it, and she's pattern testing at the same time. So she was just like, how many triangles do I need to cut? I was like, yeah, sorry. But if you start off with
have
squares,
a Stripology ruler,
yeah,
does that make life easier, Jane?
always,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Does everybody want to see what you're doing? That might help as well, mightn't it? There we
So
go.
that's my coloured square, and I've just cut that through both diagonals to make 4 triangles. I've got lots more of these to do, but I will get those done ready for next month so that we can talk about putting it all together then. So you're going to start off with one of your big triangles, and you have it facing you so that you've got the short straight edge along the bottom and the top straight edge. So it's the right angle is facing you and the slope is facing from bottom right to top left. And then you'll take one of your colours and you place that one so that it fits, well, it doesn't fit because you've got your seam allowance, but you place that one on top of there. Now when you put that together, it will fit into that top corner there, and you've got your overhang here. And that,
oh, right, I see. Yeah,
that's a good way of lining it up.
Got it, yeah.
And we'll work with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'll just change that over and make my stitch a wee bit longer. And we sew that down.
Do you not batch make? What's the word I'm after?
Chain piece.
Chain piece, that's the one.
You might get yourself into a bit of a rubble. So
Bit of what?
rubble, whatever, rubble.
Bit of trouble.
Yeah.
I've never heard that expression before.
Yeah, it's the one that we use at home quite a lot. Getting a bit of a rubble. It's like a tangle.
Okay.
So you press that back now so that the seam falls underneath the triangle. You're okay there, you've got a straight edge and a straight edge, so you don't have to worry too much about biased edges at this point. Now this is where, at first, when you do this next part, you think, well, that's a bit strange. Why is that the way it is? But just go with it and you'll be fine.
Because it is.
Because it is.
How many times as a parent do you end up saying, just because?
It is.
Just because.
It's the way that it is.
Yeah.
So you then place this triangle on top of the long side of your background fabric B square, and you're placing that triangle because you want to have this long edge here. And you're like, well, it doesn't fit. It's okay. You trim it down. And you're going to place that so it's your edges are fitting into that square there. And you're going to sew 1/4 inch down. You can carry on sewing or you can stop at the end of your triangle. I find it does help to just sew all the way down.
Right.
You're going to cut this triangle off, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. Whether
This is
you
all
just-
in the instructions,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's fine. Oh, hang on. Someone's got a mental images of geese. I now have a Sylv, what are you doing? I now have a mental image of geese meandering drunkenly, staggering about like Patsy and Eds in Abfab. I mean, right.
So you're going to press that again, you'll press it towards the little triangle. And I'm just going to give that a press with the iron just to firm that down, because you can finger press, but you want it flat as possible.
Yes, PT, they are pet names for you and me.
Yes. That's what we call Natasha and Gemma.
Can't imagine why.
So you've got your background triangle, small triangle there, and then another small triangle on top. And what you will do now is you will trim this. Just trim it level with the edge of that small triangle.
Oh, right, okay. So did you make it bigger on purpose?
It's just the way that it works to square it off.
Okay. So yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And it's 1 1/4 inches if you want to be measuring. Just line up the edge of your ruler on that seam there, so you know that you're straight, and the edge of the seam there. And you're just trimming that away, and that's gone. You don't need that anymore. You then take one of your background, your fabric B triangles, and you line that up there along that one. And again, you can line it up so it sits into the corner of that triangle there. So it sits on flat, covers the whole of that top triangle, and you've got a 1/4 inch hanging over this end.
Margaret says that Gemma shouldn't have told them that.
No.
I remember going to a friend's 18th birthday party as Patsy out of AbFab, and to be fair, the behaviour was on a par.
Yes.
And I had to be at work the next morning. I
So
just
be
remember
like Patsy then as well.
sitting in the base of my shower, just crying because my head hurt so much as I was trying to get the back combed
Out of your hair.
massive knots out of my hair. Just thinking, I can't adult today. I can't do it. It's just too hard. I can't. There you
Now,
go.
you're going to put the next triangle along this square side here, the straight side there.
Right.
You need to have a 1/4 inch either side to line it up. When you place the triangle right sides together, you've got a seam here. So if you think that's your 1/4 inch distance, so if you think you need to have a 1/4 inch from that seam there to the edge of your triangle, that's a good way of making sure you're in the right place.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
We see that, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's at first it's a little bit like, how am I supposed to make sure this is in the middle? But as long as you've got that 1/4 inch,
Then
It
you're all good to go.
it should sit properly.
Excellent.
And it's once you get into the rhythm of it, it's quite a nice border to make. It grows quite quickly, and
Right.
and you do get into the rhythm of how it works. Now I've just stepped that up a little bit too much, and you can see there. That was my 1/4 inch line that
Not
I've
switching.
done,
Oh,
and
there we go,
it should be
switching.
there. So I'm going to unpick that and move it down, because what I'm aiming for is a line that runs across there.
Do you you know what else I'm going to do, Jane? Apart from drag my microphone across. I'm
Come
gonna
in a
just-
bit, yeah.
Yeah, because we can. There you go.
Lovely, yeah. So I'm going to unpick that and just move it back down again. So just grab the unpicker. And this is what I say, the first few, and you'll be like, I don't know if I can get this right. But
How's it go?
You'll get into a rhythm with it, and it will come together. And you'll see why you're doing things as well. I think sometimes it's very difficult to understand why you're doing things a certain way.
Right.
But as you do it, you'll get the rhythm behind it, and you'll pick it up quite quickly.
Okay. Or a bit of unpicking.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that makes
a
the
bit
day,
of
doesn't it?
stitching, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, do you know what else I meant to get while I was over there, Jane? My cup of tea.
I drank all mine while I was listening to you making your dress, and now I'm like, I could do with my drink.
Do you want me to get one for you?
No, it's fine. I'll be okay. So I'm just going to move that up again slightly. And what you can do if you're feeling unsure, you can always pop a pin along where you think the seam's going to be. This will save you unpicking. And just pop it, turn it back, and just make sure. So I'm going to just lower that back down a bit more. So that you've got it. When that turns back, you're aiming for a straight seam there, so that you can then put the next triangle in.
So we don't trim it back if we get it a bit wobbly?
No, you need to keep everything the same size, otherwise you'll end up with it curving, and it won't fit together.
Right.
So that's the only bit that you need to be quite careful about. So pressing that back, and we can see now that we've got a line there that we can follow. So we take the next triangle and we place that
a bit further up for me, please. Thank you.
So,
Lovely.
and we're going to place that right sides together. Now this time you've got this seam here, and you can make sure that the point of your triangle is against that seam there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So
And then you'll know that you're pretty much in the middle. And again, it's 1/4 inch overhang either side.
I mean, if that's the only overhang you've got either side.
Yeah, that's all
You're
you need to
doing
worry
all right.
about. Yeah.
You want to talk to my jeans?
Yes, we'd all like just 1/4 inch overhang, wouldn't
Especially heading into Christmas.
we? Yeah.
Coming out the other
There's
side.
no hope, is there really? So we'll press that back. And what you're aiming for, you see, is you've got that seam there and that edge straight. And it's 1/4 inch seam there, which is your seam allowance when you come to attach your border. So that's why you need to be quite making sure that you've got it coming together. And then you'll take your next piece.
Ali says, it's nice to see Jack the Ripper having an airing.
Yes.
Is that what he's known as in your home?
And then you put your next triangle on the straight edge of this triangle here. So right sides together, and again it's 1/4 inch. So if you've got your 1/4 inch seam there, you can just make sure that it's sitting 1/4 inch over that edge, that seam there. So when it goes in, and again if I pop a pin in along there, so that when that's pressed back, you want a straightish edge there. You're going to be careful because these are biased edges. So when you're pressing, it is literally just pressing it flat, pushing it back and pressing it flat, because you don't want to be stretching it.
Right. There's all sorts of, we're trying to find out about Myra's name, but
She
Oh, here we
said
go.
she said it was her dad's. her
Hamilton
dad-
is my maiden name.
She said it was her dad's fault.
Little my married name. We have also loads of Margarets and Elizabeths on my dad's side. Big families on the Hamilton side. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you've got your straight seam then. So you put your triangle, your background fabric B triangle against those two edges there, aiming for the point of that triangle to be along that seam line. And it's, as I say, once you've got those first 3 triangles on, it's very rhythmic how you put it together.
So it is just getting that first little bit.
The first 3 are the ones that can cause you a little bit of angst, if you like, and you're just a bit like, oh, I can't get this, I don't understand.
Yeah, because you haven't had to trim back any of the other triangles, have
No.
you? It's just that very first one.
Just that first one, and that's literally to square the end off so that you've got a straight edge on your border.
Right.
And again, so you've got that triangle on there now. We've
hang
got
on.
a 1/4 inch.
Can you just move that up a little
Yeah.
bit? There we go, thank you.
We've got the 1/4 inch seam allowance there, and then we take the next triangle and we're placing that one right sides together on there and making sure that we've got the 1/4 inch overhang. And as I say, if you you want to just check it, put your pin in and then fold it back to make sure, because what you're aiming for is a straight edge here to then put your larger triangle onto.
Right. Yes. I'm with you. Kerry says, I'm really trying to remember why I decided to resit my GCSEs. I hate maths. Being 39, my brain is worse than ever. Yeah. Why are you?
It's a challenge, isn't it? And it's an achievement that you can then say, yeah, I've got my qualifications and feel proud of yourself, I would say. I think it's a good thing to do if that's what you want to do, And I think sometimes when you're, 14, 15, you can't really understand why you're doing qualifications and taking exams. And
Why
stuff.
do you need it all?
Why do you need all
Yeah.
of that? So, again, that large triangle goes against the straight edge there. The point of the triangle along that seam.
Hang on. Sorry, I just found the bit about Myra and Mary.
Yes. She says there's hundreds of Marys in her family.
Yeah, and her dad registered her wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah.
There we go. Glenn's brother is called Jim, but actually his name's Russell.
I mean, again.
And it was because the whole time that Glenn's mum was pregnant with him, her dad would say to her, and how's Sonny Jim this morning?
Right.
And it just stuck. So he's Russell James, but everybody calls, and hardly anybody, well, nobody calls him Russell.
Everyone just calls him Jim.
Everybody just calls him Jim.
Yeah.
Even his mum.
Oh, really?
Because, your mother tends to call you by your proper name, doesn't she?
Well, I don't know. My mum calls me Kate.
Well, that is your name, though, isn't it? Aren't you?
It's my
Kate?
middle name.
It's your middle name.
So anyone that knew me before the age of 16 calls me Kate. And anybody that's known me since the age of 16 calls me Natasha.
Oh, right. It's funny, isn't it, how names work?
Yeah, they just, my mum always liked Kate.
Yeah.
From Taming of the Shrew. So Natasha from Tolstoy and Kate from Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kate Hall. But but they just thought that Natasha Kate sounded better than Kate Natasha.
Yeah, I suppose it does have a better rhythm to it, doesn't it? So that one's going on there, and again we're working so that we've got a straight edge there to put the next triangle on.
Oh,
and you just keep working your way along, adding the triangle to the straight edge of the grey, so that you've got that long one to then put the next triangle on.
Perfect.
And so you'll carry on, and I think it's 43 triangles of the small triangles.
Just 43.
Just 43.
You could. I was just going to say, do you need to concentrate, or can you watch a movie while you're doing it?
I think once you've got into the rhythm of it, maybe for the first border, you might think
Not to.
not to. So we've got that triangle on there, and that gives us that straight edge to then add the next triangle on. And as you're adding it, you're just lining the point up each time with that seam there, and that should keep it nice and straight and keep your seams, keep your 1/4 inch seam. You can see on there I've overlapped that one slightly. I've lost the point off that goose, but I'm not overly worried, and in the grand scheme of things I wouldn't be bothering unpicking it. But if it really bothers you, then you can unpick it and move it up a little bit.
You know what you can live with.
Yeah.
Ali B says, my husband Donald has just wandered through wanting to chat. His response to my look, it's those women. And has retreated. Do you realise how many husbands just call us those women?
Nice.
Or me, that woman.
That woman.
That woman.
Oh dear. So you'll get your border done, and you'll come to the last one, and you will have put your triangle on. I've got 43 of the coloured triangles here. You put your last triangle on there, and you will have cut 2 smaller squares. It's in the instructions, and you'll have cut those in half as well to give you half square triangles across the diagonal. And you're going to put that one, you're just going to fit that long edge on there, and again 1/4 inch here, this seam here that's raised up, you can see your 1/4 inch there. So just sitting that on top of there, and we'll sew on that line there.
On the line. Julia just says, Donald's a smart man.
Just keep out the way.
Well, you know when someone's concentrating, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, don't talk to me now.
Gemma does that. She knows when she's like, you're not listening, are you, at all?
No, we'll just stop talking to you now because you're not absorbing anything we're saying
No,
to you.
nothing. I'll be doing something else.
And then we press that back, and that squares off your border.
Perfect.
So it's not a difficult one. There's just a lot of it, and as I say, the first 3 triangles might cause you a bit of angst as you get into the rhythm of it. But once you've got those on, and you can see then you've got this straight seam here that the large triangle goes against, and then you've got your flat seam there that the next small triangle goes against to create the long seam. And it's quite, as I say, once you get into the rhythm of it, it's quite therapeutic.
Fabulous.
Because you're just working in a flow sort of thing. And I think
in a meander.
Yeah. And it gives you a lovely effect. Well, I think it's a lovely effect. And it incorporates all of the fabrics that are within your quilt to create the border.
It just ties it all together, doesn't it?
Brings it all in.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So yeah, it's straightforward. I don't think it will give you any problems.
No.
And you should have plenty of fabric to get those done.
So Jane,
and you
next
make 4 of them. Make 4 of them.
Okay, next month we're going to tie this whole thing together, quilt it.
We're going to talk about joining it together. We'll talk about quilt as you go, because some of you might be overphased by making a whole thing. It's a nice size, and I quilted that all in one go under my domestic machine, so it's not undoable.
It's not. No.
But we will talk about quilt as you go to help people that just think, oh gosh, no, I don't want to have to do the whole thing. You can always do it and send it to your long arm quilter if. Even if you don't even want to try doing it block by block.
And we've also got, somewhere or other, we've also got the tokens that you can get loved ones to buy you.
Yes,
for Amanda's long arm quilting service. So they can buy you credit for long arm quilting, which I think is a lovely gift. Yeah, lovely gift.
Absolutely. So we'll get those done, and then we'll talk about joining it all together. And I don't know whether are we launching next year's calendar block of the month
in the new year.
In the new year as well.
Absolutely.
Shall I give them a clue as to
what it is? Yes.
We're going to do a calendar quilt. So each block each month will be something to do with the month. So like in January we're doing like a snowflake because it's all frosty and cool in January.
Yes.
February will be a heart. March is a bit of an applique with March winds, and so on, and working through each month. So you can make it, we do each block each month, so you can either make it into a quilt at the end of it by putting the 12 blocks together, or you can make it into a calendar. So you could do each block individually and have it hanging for the month on a hanger.
Beautiful.
So, or a cushion. Or
Beautiful.
you could use it and do whatever you want with it, really. Make it into an applique for just a wall hanging or whatever. So it's still in its infancy. It's getting there.
But you are clever.
I was, you know, I had big ambitions to get it all done and show you today, but that's not going to happen.
Did
You have to be realistic.
Is that what you thought was going to
Yeah,
happen?
in my head.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, because in my head I've got all this time, loads of time. I have about 48 hours in a day in my head.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah.
'Cause I think we all do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Glenn says I live in a different time zone to everybody else.
Nice then.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely in my head. It's lovely.
Oh, Jane, thank you. Thank you for sharing your head with us.
That's fine.
Um,
You wouldn't want to stay there very long, I can assure you.
oh, and I'm at the craft store tomorrow
Oh, are you?
and
Exciting.
Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Would you believe?
Well, was that a sleepover for you then?
Yeah, I think so.
Does Daddy know that the children aren't at school and you're on a sleepover?
See ya. Bye. I'm out of here. I think there's going to be a trip to the zoo or something.
Oh, lovely. That'll be
Yeah, you know what
exciting.
happened last time they went to the zoo?
No.
Yeah, we need a new door
Oh dear.
for the van.
Oh, did somebody get their head in it?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was a giraffe.
Yeah.
There was a giraffe. Yeah.
I remember now you saying
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's fun. So I'm hoping they pick something else.
Yes.
But there we go. So yeah. That's where I'll be having all the fun. And good morning. Love Jane's upcoming projects and the calendar idea, says Susan. Brilliant.
Lovely.
Annie says, brilliant demo, Jane. You make something so very fiddly look so easy.
Thank you.
There we
I'm
are.
glad I made it look easy because I do worry that sometimes I overcomplicate things when I'm explaining it.
No.
Because it can be easy, but when you start trying to explain something, you can make it look worse than it is.
Using words.
Just put
Just
that there and
pictures.
sew it.
That'll be fine. Yeah, all good, all good. Well, thank you ever so much. On the chat, I have to say that it's just like ancestry.com going on.
Oh,
So,
right.
yeah, trying to see if people are related to each other. It's
Oh, right.
interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jane. What are you making next week?
We're doing a Lisa Chandler project.
Oh,
A nice table centre thing.
table centre thing.
Hexies.
Oh.
Look, a bit of hand sewing, but we'll make the main part of it on the machine,
Okay.
which is good.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Lovely.
Bye-bye, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday. And
Yeah.
everything else. Lovely.
Busy.
Yes. Take care. Lots of love. Give us a wave, Jane.
Bye.